Hey everybody, Dan with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about this concept. Ending symptoms is an active, not passive process. So we actually got to do something. So we'll get to that in a minute. Smile, relax, breathe. So, ending symptoms is an active, not passive process. And this comes about from a lot of the questions which I get. And a lot of people will say, Dan, but I know about it. I had TMS before and I beat it, and I know about it again, and I know what this is. Why am I still having symptoms? Well, first of all, knowledge alone is not the cure. If it was, anybody who read a book would be better. Knowledge alone doesn't cure you. We have a complex brain, nervous system, threat detection system. And if the brain is still perceiving danger, it's going to keep the alarm turned on. So if you think you can just kind of lackadaisically say, well, I know what's going on, I'll live with it, and it'll go away over time, I generally find that I don't see that happening with people who watch my videos or people in my group coaching. I believe we need to be more actively involved, right? So we need to start to change the narrative. You know, I did a video, I don't know, about 10 days ago called the safety and danger balance, right? Getting that right. And we want to proactively minimize the amount of dangers that we're creating through our thoughts, actions, behaviors, what we're avoiding, what we're not avoiding. We want to minimize the dangers proactively, actively, and we want to proactively create this sense of, I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. Right? So if you think passively, you can read a book, understand what this mind-body concept is, and then just say, all right, I'm going to go live my life, and I'll get better. I don't think that's enough. I think we have to actively change the inner dialogue, change the behaviors that create either danger or safety, and start to focus on the things that create safety. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I tell myself I'm safe all the time. Well, your brain's not believing it if you still have symptoms. And it may be because you're still avoiding certain body positions, movements, activities, leaving the house, leaving the bed, whatever it may be. Just saying I'm safe, or any length of self-talk, is not enough. That's why when I talk about my process, it's like we want to create safety mentally by not believing the fearful, scary thoughts. Emotionally, by allowing ourselves to experience the emotions without judgment and without ruminating on the stories behind them. We want to feel our emotions so that our brain learns that emotions are not dangerous. Sarno was right. When the brain perceives that these scary, dangerous, overwhelming emotions are bubbling up to the surface, his theory was that the brain would create symptoms like pain or otherwise to distract us from these emotions. So when I say we need to create safety mentally and emotionally, I mean emotionally feel the emotions so the brain can learn these emotions are not dangerous. We also want to create safety physically. Micro meditations, right? It's important to get ourselves into a relaxed state, because if you are walking around guarded and tense and protective all the time, your brain's got no choice but to perceive that as you're in trouble, right? So mentally, emotionally, physically, how we respond to symptoms is massively important in whether or not we're creating danger or safety. Right? How we treat ourselves is also super important. So we want to actively start to treat ourselves better. We want to actively notice and become aware of these self-defeating, criticisms, judgments, berating ourselves, beating the crap out of ourselves, blaming ourselves. I can't tell you how many times people will say, I have such shame because this is my fault. I'm failing. No, it's not. This is not your fault. Mind-body conditions are the brain doing their job based on what's going on in your life. And it's never your fault. It's where you ended up. And the great news is there's a path forward to get out of this situation. So let's take responsibility for now moving forward and cut yourself some slack for how you got here. Because beating yourself up and saying, this is all my fault, and I'm so ashamed and I'm so grief-stricken over it, that doesn't help. So mentally, emotionally, physically, how you treat yourself, how you respond to symptoms creates safety. If all you do is react to symptoms with the ouch, curl up, oh no, that's not an active way of moving forward. We have to notice, oh, smile, relax, know that you're okay. Don't buy into the scary thoughts, right? So respond to symptoms as well as you can. Engage in life. Shift your attention from fixing, from hiding, from avoiding symptoms to living my life even with the symptoms. Because by definition, mind-body symptoms mean you're not broken. Your brain just perceives danger, right? All of this is wrapped up in the mindset of knowing I'm actually okay. But none of this stuff that I've just walked you through is something you can just passively expect to happen on its own. We want to be aware of these things and proactively choose a path that moves us in the right direction, going towards safety, as opposed to, by default, passively hanging out in the danger zone, right? So getting better is an active, not passive process. We just can't sit back and go, yep, I know what TMS is. I'm just going to wait until I get better. I don't believe it's that simple, and passive allows us to fall into the default response, which is often fear, despair, sadness, anger, being pissed off, right? We have to actively, proactively choose a different response to this whole scenario so that the brain can learn. Because if you just do the same old thing that you've been doing, don't be surprised when you get the same old results that you've been getting. So, active, not passive. Think about it. What can you be doing differently to shift from this passive, hanging around in the danger zone, towards I'm actually okay, moving towards safety? So think about it. Comment below. Let me know what you're doing differently to move yourself more towards safety, less from danger. Go back about 10 days and look for the video entitled Finding the Safety Danger Balance. But love you folks. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Welcome to Sunday. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.